Hey guys, come on in. Well, my name's Dan, and September 15th, 2010, riding a motorcycle home from work. I had a lady pull out in front of me. I hit her going 70 miles an hour, broadside, hard enough to flip her over, and I went over the top of her and into the ditch. I think the defining time was in the helicopter. Reality hit, and I asked the nurse, I said, am I going to die? And she said, well, the fact that you're in this helicopter means you've got a really good chance of not. And so we landed in Springfield. At that point, they gurneyed me in and gave me some kind of a shot. I heard them say, give him a shot, and I don't remember anything for about 3 more days. It was really weird. When I first woke up, I thought we were going home. I didn't have any recollection. I mean, I'm like, okay, when, they get me patched up, can we go home? And when Jenny's like, no, bud, you're not going home for a long time, that was kind of the realization of, I may not get out of here.
My name is Deja, and right before the lowest point of my life, actually I wasn't a believer in Christ. What led me to the lowest moment was I had been just trying to celebrate my birthday, actually. So it was 4 days before my birthday, and just out of nowhere, just had been drinking and just thought that it was just a normal day, and just got this feeling to call my mom and told her about just the abuse that I went through that she didn't know about, and then hung up the phone with her, which led me to take a lot of medication that I had from a car accident that led me to completely blacking out. So all of it's still a little blurry to me, but I just know that I had to be revived that night, and I was out of it for 4 days. So yeah, I woke up in the hospital 4 days later, just not knowing what happened. And I just remember just not having any hope at all.
Who found you that night?
So at the time, who had found me that night, I was living with a girl that I had just met online, and she wasn't a Christian at all either. So she actually found me to make sure that I got rushed to the hospital. I knew my dad, but he he's into living a lifestyle that, as they call it, living in the streets. So I remember growing up just always wanting that father's love, and just getting disappointed every time.
So I'm Stacy, and the moment that led me to the lowest point was I had just experienced another failed relationship. I was so disgusted with myself. I didn't even recognize myself anymore when I looked at myself in the mirror. I felt like a failure in a lot of ways, and I had known God and been close to God, but just turned my back and had walked away. I preferred to be by myself because I used alcohol to numb out the pain, to try to escape from myself, really. I didn't want people in my life. I had pretty much alienated everybody. Yeah. One night I was just sitting there, and of course, I tried to work long hours so I wouldn't drink. But as soon as I got home, that's what I did. And I was sitting there, and it was one night, and I just felt this overwhelming loneliness like I had never felt in my entire life. My heart ached, and I felt so much pain, pain that I'd caused myself, pain that I had caused others. I think on this path of just complete self-destruction and unforgiveness,
My name's Sean.
I used to DJ in town between the radio station and the bars, and it was a blast. You know, like I was a professional partier. My whole job was to throw parties, and I was really good at it. But something was just moving in me to say, this isn't the dad and the husband I want to continue to be. Like, I'm waking up on Wednesday mornings still wasted from the night before. I don't remember how I got home, and I smell like cigarette smoke, you know, and that was my norm. This wasn't the man that my wife deserved. At the time, it was like 20 years DJing, and I was afraid to move away from that because I had invested so much of my identity in that lifestyle. I just found myself in this place, and I don't really know how to explain. I wasn't on my deathbed, you know, but I was absolutely living a life of death. What's so crazy is the radio days and the club days, the days whenever I thought I was on top of the world, man. In the moment, the days that I was most proud of, today I look back and that's the most shame. I really thought I had it all, you know? And now I look back and I'm like, gosh, compared to this life, I had nothing, just nothing. It reminds me of the woman at the well, and a constant need to quench a thirst is absolutely what it was. It was go to the club tonight, throw this party, and it was never big enough. It was never good enough. Always wanted more. And so today to be able to find rest in His Word and to look forward to be in community with like-minded folks, you know, and to know that like there's no one that I'm in community with today that loves Jesus that doesn't have a story like this. Mm-hmm. It's just, there's no way I'm alone anymore.
I came across the book Not a Fan by Kyle Idleman and read that in one day, which led me to want to know who Jesus was. At the time, I just thought everybody was against me, and I just put up walls, and slowly but surely He like knocked us down. Right away, people were like walking with me on my journey, which actually led me to be like, I want to do this. Like, I want to walk with others. I want them to know that they're not alone, that they are loved.
If there was a girl in her early 20s that came to you and said, I don't think I have any reason to live, what would you say to that girl?
I would say that I've been in your shoes. I know what that feels like. I would say that now you probably do feel that way, but it's not true. And that you're loved, and you have people that will want you around, and that people that if you were gone, that they would notice. And it doesn't feel like that way in the moment, because it just feels like nobody's for you, but there's so many people in her corner. So many people that want to love her and show her Jesus' love.
From that point, it was like, okay, it's going to be a tough road, but we're going to make it. And so once we got to that point, the resolve to make it was there. You know, even through learning how to walk again and how to do all those kinds of things. But what it made me is a better man. I was a bitter man before, and I was a better man after. I tell people if I had to walk it again because of what I got to see God do in my family and in the faith of my kids, I'd walk it again. It was that moment of this day's a gift, and you need to make sure you're treating those people and doing those things in that manner, even when you don't feel like it. Physically, there's no reason I should be here. So physically, He healed me. Spiritually, I grew up in a pastor's home and knew all about Jesus, but I didn't know Jesus. And There were multiple times laying in the hospital bed in Columbia, because at night in ICU, your family can't stay with you. And so it's just you. And if you've ever been in the hospital or you're sick or whatever, you know night's the worst. That's when the demons come. That's when the devil wants to do his work. And there were a lot of nights I didn't think, we're not going to make it till morning. I remember one specific night where, the pain in my ribs the pain was terrible, and I was ready to cash it in. And I opened my eyes, and it was like he was in the room with me saying, I've already paid that. You know, I've already paid for your healing. You just have to walk it out. And it was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. But I say that to say, spiritually, he gave me new life again too.
I was at work, and I had toyed with the idea that I might be an alcoholic. I had said it maybe in my past, but I had gone years and not drank. But I'd been online, and I thought, well, I've heard about these meeting things or whatever. So it wasn't quite 30 days in, and I remember laying in my bed, and I could barely lift my head off the pillow, and I was so thirsty, but I couldn't move, and I just laid there, and I was weak and exhausted, but awake, like just so awake. And I remember asking God, is this what it feels like to die to yourself? And I surrendered right there. He met me right where I was, and in all of my ugliness. He walked with me through all the steps of recovery, and that is a spiritual battle, like one I had never known. But every scripture that I didn't think I'd ever memorized in my life, I may not be able to say what book or what chapter, but they came back, and God stands and fights for you and with you, and I felt him carry me through those days. I was dead, literally spiritually dead, and he breathed life back into me.